Hello, welcome to this channel. Today we will learn about the explosive confrontation between Aaron Green and Sophia Choi that is set to shake Salem to its core, as Aaron discovers the shocking truth about his biological connection to baby Tesoro and the web of lies that has been spun around this innocent child's paternity. The Halloween revelation. The drama unfolds during a tense Halloween gathering when Aaron Green finds himself in an incredibly awkward conversation with Leo Stark that changes everything he thought he knew about his life. During this fateful encounter, Leo inadvertently drops a bombshell that sends Aaron's world spinning, the revelation that Aaron could very well be the biological father of the precious baby boy that Leo and his partner Javi Hernandez have been lovingly fostering. This stunning admission comes after DNA test results conclusively prove that Tate Black, who everyone believed to be Tesoro's father for months, has absolutely no biological connection to the infant. The revelation hits Aaron like a freight train, bringing back memories of that fateful evening when he and Sophia spent time together, a night that neither of them fully acknowledged could have such life-altering consequences. Aaron's explosive confrontation with Sophia. When Aaron finally tracks down Sophia Choi to confront her about this earth-shattering revelation, the confrontation is nothing short of explosive. Aaron's rage is palpable and completely justified as he demands answers from the young woman who deliberately deceived him about something as monumentally important as fatherhood. Sophia had looked Aaron directly in the eyes months earlier and told him with absolute certainty that he was not the father of her unborn child, a lie that allowed her to maintain the fiction that Tate was Tesoro's biological parent. The betrayal cuts deep as Aaron realizes that Sophia manipulated the entire situation, robbing him of precious months of his son's early life and denying him the opportunity to be present during the pregnancy and birth. The confrontation becomes heated as Aaron unleashes his fury, questioning how Sophia could be so callous and deceitful about something that would fundamentally alter the trajectory of multiple lives in Salem. The truth behind Sophia's deception. As the confrontation intensifies, the full scope of Sophia's manipulation becomes crystal clear to everyone involved in this complicated situation. Sophia had been operating under tremendous pressure from her ultra-conservative mother Amy Choi, who had very specific expectations about how her daughter should handle an unplanned pregnancy. Rather than face the reality of her situation with Aaron, a relationship that lacked the romantic foundation that existed with Tate, Sophia made the calculated decision to pin the paternity on Tate, knowing that he would step up and support her without demanding a DNA test. This scheme allowed Sophia to maintain some control over her narrative while avoiding the complicated conversations that would have been necessary with Aaron. Throughout her entire pregnancy, Sophia exhibited troubling behavior that suggested deep psychological conflict about the baby, first wanting to terminate the pregnancy, then desperately seeking to give the child up for adoption as quickly as possible after birth. The desperation to distance herself from Tesoro culminated in her decision to leave the newborn in the safe haven box at the fire station, effectively washing her hands of the situation without having to face any of the people she had deceived along the way. The question of Tesoro's future. Now that the truth has exploded into the open and Sophia finds herself hospitalized due to the emotional and physical toll of this scandal, the most pressing question facing everyone in Salem is what will happen to innocent baby Tesoro. Aaron stands at a crossroads that will define not just his future, but the future of his newly discovered son. Will Aaron, despite his justified anger at Sophia's deception, step up and embrace his role as Tesoro's biological father and fight for custody of the child? Aaron has the support of his family, including his sisters Kat Green and Felicity Green, who could provide a strong support system for raising the baby. Taking on fatherhood would mean Aaron's unexpected integration into one of Salem's most powerful and influential families, potentially connecting him to the DiMera clan if the adoption proceedings take certain turns. However, Aaron is young, still finding his way in life, and the responsibility of single fatherhood at his age presents enormous challenges that he never anticipated facing. Leo and Javi's emotional investment. Complicating this already tangled situation is the undeniable bond that Leo Stark and Javi Hernandez have formed with baby Tesoro during their time as foster parents. From the moment this precious child entered their lives, Leo and Javi have been falling deeply in love with him, caring for his every need and beginning to envision a future where they become his permanent parents through adoption. Leo has become fiercely protective of Tesoro, believing that he and Javi should have significant input into what happens to the baby they have been nurturing since he left the hospital. The couple has been working through the challenges that come with adoption, including concerns about Leo's criminal past potentially presenting obstacles to their application, but their determination to create a real family with Tesoro has only grown stronger with each passing day. Leo and Javi have even discussed the possibility of getting married to present a more stable and united front to adoption agencies, demonstrating their serious commitment to becoming Tesoro's permanent fathers. The thought of losing this child who has become the center of their world fills them with dread, and they are prepared to fight for the right to raise him. Johnny and Chanel's adoption hopes. Adding another layer of complexity to this custody battle is the fact that Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree have been actively pursuing adoption of baby Tesoro, with powerful forces supporting their application. Johnny's grandmother Paulina has been working behind the scenes to facilitate the adoption, using her considerable influence to smooth the path for the young couple who have been struggling with their own fertility challenges. Chanel is widely viewed as an excellent candidate for motherhood, with her stability, successful business, and nurturing nature making her an ideal adoptive parent. However, Johnny's past presents potential complications, with Leo Stark conducting his own investigation into Johnny's history to uncover anything that might disqualify him as an adoptive father. Despite Sophia's earlier attempts to sabotage their adoption process, Johnny and Chanel remain in the running and are hopeful that they will be chosen to give Tesoro a loving home. The couple represents stability and the backing of one of Salem's most prominent families, resources that could provide Tesoro with every advantage in life. The weight of Aaron's decision. The pressure on Aaron Green to make the right decision about his son's future is immense and comes from multiple directions simultaneously. On one hand, Aaron faces the moral obligation that comes with biological fatherhood, the knowledge that Tesoro is his flesh and blood and deserves to know his real father. Aaron's sense of betrayal by Sophia might actually fuel his determination to step up and ensure that his son doesn't grow up without knowing his biological parent, something Aaron himself might feel strongly about given his own family background. His sisters could rally around him, providing the support network necessary to help a young single father navigate the challenges of raising an infant. However, Aaron must also consider what is truly best for Tesoro's well-being and future prospects. Is it more loving and responsible to place the child with an established couple like Leo and Javi, who have already bonded with Tesoro and proven their dedication, or with Johnny and Chanel, who can offer financial security and family connections? The decision weighs heavily on Aaron as he grapples with his anger at Sophia, his shock at becoming a father, and his uncertainty about his own readiness for such a massive responsibility. Sophia's hospital crisis and regret. While Aaron wrestles with this monumental decision, Sophia lies in a hospital bed, facing the devastating consequences of her choices and the web of lies she so carefully constructed. The emotional and psychological toll of giving birth, abandoning her baby, maintaining the deception about paternity, and now having the truth explosively revealed has pushed Sophia to a breaking point. Reports suggest that Sophia may be experiencing profound regret about her decision to give up Tesoro, and there are whispers that she might even contemplate taking drastic action to get her baby back. Rachel Boyd, who portrays Sophia, has indicated that her character will become fiercely protective of her baby, suggesting that maternal instincts Sophia tried to suppress might be surfacing with overwhelming force. The young mother may realize too late that the child she tried so hard to distance herself from is actually the most important thing in her world. However, Sophia's hospitalization and the chaos she has created make it highly unlikely that she will be considered a viable option for custody, regardless of her newfound maternal feelings. The legal and emotional battle ahead. The custody situation surrounding baby Tesoro is shaping up to be one of the most complicated legal and emotional battles Salem has witnessed in recent memory. Multiple parties have legitimate claims or interests in this innocent child's future, Aaron as the biological father, Leo and Javi as the devoted foster parents who have been raising him, Johnny and Chanel as approved adoption candidates with powerful family backing, and even Sophia as the biological mother despite her abandonment. Each party brings different strengths and weaknesses to the custody discussion, and the legal system will need to wade through the complexities of biological rights versus the best interests of the child. Sarah Horton finds herself in a difficult position, knowing the truth about the paternity situation but limited in what she can disclose due to medical ethics and legal constraints. Brady Black has hired investigator Steve Johnson to dig deeper into the situation, suggesting that multiple Salem families are prepared to fight for their vision of Tesoro's future. The emotional stakes couldn't be higher for everyone involved, as each day that passes strengthens the bonds between Tesoro and his current caregivers while Aaron grapples with his newfound paternity. Salem's reaction and family dynamics. The revelation about Tesoro's true paternity is sending shockwaves through the entire Salem community, with various families and factions lining up to support their preferred outcome. The Green family, previously on the periphery of Salem's major family dramas, suddenly finds itself thrust into the spotlight as Aaron's potential fatherhood could connect them to major storylines and powerful families. Aaron's connection to Tesoro could even tie the Green family to the DiMera empire if Johnny and Chanel's adoption proceeds with Aaron's blessing, creating complex new family dynamics in Salem. Meanwhile, the Hernandez family has their own stake in this situation through Javi and Rafe's roles as foster father and legal guardian respectively. The Black family, reeling from the revelation that Tate is not Tesoro's biological father after months of believing he was, must process their own grief and anger at Sophia's deception. Tate himself faces the complicated emotions of having believed he was a father, preparing himself mentally for that role, only to discover the entire foundation was built on lies. The interconnected nature of Salem's families means that this custody battle will have ripple effects far beyond just those directly involved with Tesoro. The path forward remains unclear, but one thing is certain: baby Tesoro's future will be determined by the decisions made in the coming weeks, and Aaron Green holds the power to shape that future through his choice to either embrace fatherhood or trust that another family can provide the stability and love his son deserves. The explosion of truth that erupted during that Halloween confrontation has forever altered multiple lives in Salem, proving once again that secrets and lies eventually come to light with devastating consequences for everyone involved. Part 2, Days of Our Lives. Theo confronts his painful past, Abe meets a troubled young man, and old wounds are reopened. In the ever-turbulent town of Salem, no one ever truly escapes their past, and for Theo Carver, that truth is about to hit home in a deeply emotional way. As Days of Our Lives continues to explore redemption, forgiveness, and the lasting scars of cruelty, viewers will soon witness a powerful storyline that connects the past and the present in ways that will touch hearts across generations. Theo Carver, played by Tyler Joseph Andrews, has long been a beloved figure in Salem, a young man who has faced extraordinary challenges, from living with autism to enduring heartbreak and loss. Over the years, fans have watched Theo grow into a compassionate and steady soul, always striving to do what's right even when others around him falter. But now, the past is catching up to him, and an old wound is about to reopen in the most unexpected way. A painful reunion. The drama begins when Abe Carver, James Reynolds, one of Salem's most respected and dignified figures, takes on a new personal mission. After recovering from his own struggles, losing his memory, rediscovering his place as mayor, and slowly rebuilding his confidence, Abe decides to give back to the community in a meaningful way. He begins volunteering as a literacy mentor, helping adults in Salem learn to read and write, hoping to guide them toward a brighter future. It's a noble goal, one that reflects Abe's lifelong belief in second chances and the power of education. But what Abe doesn't realize is that his new student, a troubled young man named Liam Selejko, Hank Northrup, is someone who has a deep and painful connection to his own son. When Abe proudly tells Theo about the new literacy program and introduces him to Liam, the atmosphere immediately shifts. Theo freezes. His eyes darken with the flicker of memory, because Liam isn't just another student. Years ago, when Theo and Liam were in school together, Liam made Theo's life miserable. Liam was one of the kids who mocked, teased, and isolated Theo for being different. What made it worse was that Theo, kind-hearted and eager to fit in, never retaliated. He carried that pain silently, and it left scars that never truly faded. Old wounds resurface. When the two young men meet again, it's a moment of quiet tension rather than loud confrontation. Abe, unaware of the history between them, tries to make polite conversation, praising Theo for stopping by and encouraging Liam to stay motivated in his studies. But beneath the surface, the emotional current is electric. Theo can barely bring himself to speak, while Liam looks increasingly uneasy, as if the ghosts of his past have come back to stare him in the face. In private, Theo later confides in Abe about what Liam did all those years ago. For Abe, it's a gut punch. As both a father and a mentor, he finds himself torn, wanting to protect his son, yet also feeling a deep sense of responsibility toward helping a young man who may be seeking redemption. Abe has always believed that people can change, but can he extend that belief when his own child was the one who suffered? A question of forgiveness. For Theo, the situation becomes a test of personal growth and emotional strength. Though he has matured and learned to navigate the world with grace, the wounds of bullying never fully disappear. Every harsh word, every cruel laugh, those memories linger. And now, standing face to face with the boy who once made him feel small, Theo must decide what kind of man he wants to be. Meanwhile, Liam's story begins to unfold. Through his sessions with Abe, it becomes clear that Liam's own life hasn't been easy. His upbringing was chaotic, marked by neglect and insecurity. His cruelty toward Theo, while inexcusable, came from a place of ignorance and pain. Now, years later, Liam is trying to better himself, to break free from the mistakes of his past and become someone his younger self never thought possible. Eventually, Liam musters the courage to approach Theo and apologize. The moment is quiet, heartfelt, and awkward. He admits that what he did was wrong, that he was cruel to someone who only ever wanted to be his friend. Theo listens, his expression unreadable. There's a long pause before he responds, and when he finally speaks, it's with the calm honesty that defines him. "I can't forget what you did," Theo says softly, "but maybe one day, I can forgive you." It's a moment that captures the heart of what Days of Our Lives has always stood for: compassion, redemption, and the complicated human struggle between remembering and forgiving. Abe's role as a father and mentor. As this storyline unfolds, Abe will find himself once again guiding both young men, each in very different ways. For Liam, he becomes a steady influence, a figure who teaches patience and empathy. For Theo, he remains a pillar of support, encouraging his son to face his pain, not to hide from it. The father-son scenes between Abe and Theo promise to be some of the most moving in recent memory, as they navigate forgiveness not just as an act of kindness, but as a means of healing.